Why chosen ones have a different mindset than others. There is something different about the way chosen ones think. It's not just intelligence, nor is it simply experience. It's a deeper, more profound way of seeing the world, one that sets them apart from the masses. But what does it really mean to be a chosen one? Some believe it's destiny, that certain people are simply born different, while others argue it's a result of circumstances forcing them into an elevated state of awareness. But here's the truth. Being a chosen one is not about external validation or some mythical calling. It's about the way your mind operates. It's about how you see beyond the illusion, how you embrace discomfort, and how you transform pain into power. It's about how you refuse to be confined by the limitations that society, fear, and even your own mind try to impose on you. Most people live in a mental prison, one crafted by years of conditioning, expectations, and programmed beliefs. They operate on autopilot, never questioning why they think the way they do or why they follow the paths laid out for them. But the chosen ones? They are different. They do not accept things at face value. They question everything, not out of rebellion, but out of an insatiable need for truth. They are the ones who, when told something is impossible, immediately start figuring out how to make it possible. They do not settle for mediocrity, because mediocrity feels like death to them. They crave depth, meaning, and purpose in a world that too often prioritizes surface-level distractions.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
But this mindset is not something that comes easily. It is forged in fire. Chosen ones are often forced into isolation, not because they seek it, but because their journey demands it. Have you ever felt like you don't belong? Have you ever looked around and wondered why no one else sees the things you see? Why no one else seems to hear the silent truths screaming beneath the noise of everyday life? That's because the chosen ones operate on a different frequency, and the higher your frequency, the more disconnected you may feel from those who are still trapped in the lower vibrations of fear, doubt, and complacency. This is where transformation begins, when you start to realize that loneliness is not a curse, but a calling, that discomfort is not something to avoid, but to embrace. The chosen ones do not run from pain, they walk straight into it, knowing that it is the fire that will refine them. While others seek comfort and security, chosen ones seek growth and expansion. They understand that nothing great ever comes from staying in the same place, physically, mentally, or spiritually. But let's go even deeper. What is it about the chosen ones that makes them willing to go where others refuse to? It's their relationship with fear. Most people allow fear to dictate their actions. They let it paralyze them, keep them small, keep them from taking risks. But the chosen ones, they have learned to dance with fear. They do not seek to eliminate it because they understand that fear is not the enemy. Fear is a guide. It points directly at the areas where growth is waiting. It whispers, "This is where you need to go," and instead of running in the opposite direction, they step toward it. But here's the paradox. The more you embrace fear, the less power it has over you, and the more you resist it, the stronger it becomes. The chosen ones have figured this out, and that's why they move differently. They see fear as a doorway, not a wall. They know that on the other side of every fear is a version of themselves they haven't met yet, a stronger, wiser, more capable version. Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something that truly scared you? Not something small, but something that forced you to face yourself, to confront your limitations, to step into the unknown. Most people avoid these moments, but chosen ones seek them out, not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand that growth is on the other side of discomfort. And this is where the real separation happens. The majority will always choose the easy path. They will choose comfort over challenge, distraction over depth, security over freedom, because freedom, true freedom, it requires responsibility. It requires you to take full ownership of your life, your choices, and your mindset. And that is terrifying for most people, but not for the chosen ones. They understand that everything in life is a reflection of their inner world. If their external reality is chaotic, they do not blame the outside world. They look within. If they are not where they want to be, they do not make excuses, they take action. This is what makes them different. They do not wait for permission. They do not wait for the right time. They create the right time. They move with a sense of urgency because they understand that time is the most valuable currency they have. While others waste their days on mindless distractions, chosen ones are building, learning, growing, evolving. They are not afraid to be misunderstood because they know that greatness is always lonely at first. But here's the final truth. Being a chosen one is not about a title. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about responsibility. It's about carrying the weight of awareness in a world that thrives on ignorance. It's about making decisions that most people are too afraid to make. It's about seeing beyond the illusion and choosing to wake up even when staying asleep would be easier. So the question is, are you willing to embrace that responsibility? Are you willing to step into the unknown, to challenge your fears, to break free from the limitations that have been placed on you? Or will you choose comfort, even if it means remaining in chains? The choice has always been yours, but remember this, the ones who change the world are never the ones who followed the crowd. They are the ones who dared to think differently, to act differently, to be different. And that is exactly why chosen ones have a different mindset than others. The hidden power of isolation and why it's essential for the chosen ones. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when they realize that isolation is not a punishment, it is a calling. The world teaches us that being alone is something to be feared, that solitude is synonymous with loneliness, that if you are not constantly surrounded by people, constantly engaging, constantly validated, then something must be wrong with you. But that is one of the greatest illusions ever created, because true growth, true power, and true transformation do not happen in the noise of the crowd. They happen in silence. They happen in the moments when no one is watching, when the distractions fade, when the only voice left is your own. And that is exactly why most people avoid isolation at all costs, because they are afraid of what they will hear when everything else goes quiet. Chosen ones, however, do not run from isolation, they embrace it. They understand that solitude is not a curse but a sacred space, a space where they can hear their own thoughts without interference, where they can connect with their deepest truths without external influence. And most importantly, it is in isolation where they refine their vision. Because make no mistake, every chosen one has a vision, something greater than themselves that they are meant to bring into the world. But visions are delicate things. They are easily distorted by the opinions, fears, and doubts of others. That is why the early stages of the chosen one's journey often involve a period of separation, a time when they must step away from everything familiar, not because they dislike people, not because they want to be alone forever, but because they need to protect the seed of their purpose before it is fully grown. But isolation is not easy. It is in this space that the real battles begin, not with the outside world, but with the self. The mind starts to reveal its deepest fears, its unresolved wounds, its hidden insecurities. And this is where most people break. They seek distractions, they numb themselves, they run back to the comfort of the crowd, because facing themselves is too uncomfortable. But the chosen ones, they stay, they sit with the discomfort. They allow the shadows to surface, not to fight them, but to understand them. Because they know that true strength is not about avoiding darkness, it is about learning how to navigate through it. And here is the paradox. The more time a chosen one spends in solitude, the more connected they become, not just to themselves, but to the world in a way that most people will never understand. While others rely on external validation, chosen ones develop an unshakable inner knowing. They do not need constant reassurance because they have built a foundation so strong within themselves that no amount of noise from the outside world can shake it. They do not fear being misunderstood because they have already accepted that their path was never meant to be understood by the majority. But this power of isolation does not mean chosen ones are meant to be alone forever. In fact, isolation is only the first step. It is the refining process, the fire that burns away everything that is not true, everything that is not aligned, everything that is holding them back. And once that process is complete, they emerge, not as the same person who went in, but as something entirely new. They return to the world, but they are no longer influenced by it in the same way. They no longer seek permission. They no longer doubt their path. They move with clarity, with purpose, with an energy that is unmistakable. And this is where the real impact begins. Because when a chosen one steps fully into their power, they become a force of nature. They do not need to convince anyone of anything. Their energy alone speaks for them. They attract the right people effortlessly, not because they are seeking validation, but because their authenticity is magnetic. They inspire others not by preaching, but simply by being. And, most importantly, they build, they create, they manifest the visions that others only dream about because they have done the inner work that most people avoid. So the question is, are you willing to embrace isolation? Are you willing to step away from the noise, to sit in the silence, to face yourself fully? Or will you keep running, keep distracting, keep avoiding the very process that is meant to transform you? Because the truth is, no one can do this for you. No one can walk this path except you. But if you do, if you truly commit to the journey, you will emerge as something far greater than you ever imagined. The unshakable resilience of chosen ones, why they never break, no matter what happens. There is something almost supernatural about the resilience of chosen ones. No matter what life throws at them, no matter how many times they are knocked down, betrayed, abandoned, or pushed to the edge, they refuse to break. While others crumble under pressure, while others surrender to their circumstances, chosen ones rise, again and again, as if nothing can truly destroy them. But this is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is a direct result of the way they perceive challenges, the way they process pain, and the way they turn every hardship into fuel. Most people see suffering as something to be avoided. They see obstacles as unfair punishments, as reasons to quit, as signs that they were never meant to succeed. But chosen ones? They see suffering as a teacher. They understand that pain is not the enemy, it is the catalyst. Every setback, every betrayal, every loss is not something that weakens them, but something that sharpens them. They do not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, they ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" This shift in perspective is what makes them unstoppable. Because when you stop seeing pain as something negative, when you stop resisting hardship and start embracing it, you become untouchable. Nothing can break you because you no longer see yourself as a victim of life, you see yourself as the creator of it. But resilience is not just about enduring suffering, it's about transforming it. The chosen ones do not just survive their struggles, they transmute them into something powerful. Every heartache, every failure, every moment of despair becomes fuel for their evolution. Instead of letting bitterness consume them, they use it to deepen their wisdom. Instead of allowing rejection to diminish their self-worth, they use it as proof that they are meant for something greater. They take what was meant to destroy them and turn it into the very thing that sets them apart. And this is where most people fail. They let their wounds define them. They carry their past like a weight, allowing it to dictate their future. But chosen ones know that the past is only useful if it serves as a lesson, not a prison. They refuse to be trapped by old pain, by old fears, by old versions of themselves. They understand that growth requires shedding, that in order to step into their highest potential, they must be willing to let go of everything that no longer serves them, even if it means walking away from people, places, or identities they once held dear. But let's go even deeper. What is it that truly makes chosen ones unbreakable? It is their ability to find meaning in everything. Where others see chaos, they see patterns. Where others see endings, they see new beginnings. They have trained their minds to extract wisdom from every experience, no matter how painful. And because of this, they never truly feel lost. Even in the darkest moments, even when everything seems to be falling apart, they trust that there is a greater purpose behind it all. This trust, this unshakable faith in the process, is what allows them to keep going when others give up. But make no mistake, resilience is not about being emotionless. Chosen ones feel everything deeply. They experience pain just as intensely as anyone else, if not more. The difference is that they do not let it destroy them. They allow themselves to grieve, to feel, to break down if necessary, but they do not stay there. They rise, every single time, because they know that every storm eventually passes, but who they become because of it will last forever. And this is why they are different. This is why they intimidate people, why they are often misunderstood, why they seem almost otherworldly. It's not because they have had an easy life, it's because they have walked through fire and emerged stronger. It's because they have faced the kind of pain that would break most people, and instead of letting it consume them, they used it to become something greater. So, ask yourself this: how do you respond to pain? Do you let it weaken you, or do you let it shape you? Do you run from it, or do you face it head-on, knowing that within every hardship lies an opportunity for transformation? Because that is the difference between those who remain trapped in their circumstances and those who rise above them. That is the difference between the ordinary and the chosen ones. And if you are listening to this, if these words resonate with something deep within you, then perhaps you are one of them. Perhaps you have been forged by your struggles for a reason. Perhaps every painful experience, every setback, every moment of doubt has been preparing you for something far greater than you can currently comprehend. But the only way to find out is to keep going, to refuse to break, to refuse to let the weight of the world crush you, because chosen ones do not surrender to life, they master it. The final evolution, how chosen ones become the architects of reality. There comes a point in the chosen one's journey when they transcend the limitations of ordinary existence. They have endured the suffering, faced the isolation, embraced the fire of transformation, and emerged unbreakable. But what happens after that? What happens when a chosen one has mastered resilience, when they no longer fear loss, rejection, or failure? That is when they step into their final evolution, when they become the architects of reality itself. Most people go through life reacting. They react to circumstances, they react to emotions, they react to the expectations of others. Their entire existence is shaped by external forces, dictated by events outside of their control. But the chosen ones? They do not live in reaction, they live in creation. They understand that reality is not something that happens to them, it is something they shape with their thoughts, their energy, and their actions. They become conscious participants in the unfolding of their own destiny, bending reality to their will not through force, but through alignment. And this is where the real power lies, because when a chosen one realizes that their inner world dictates their outer world, everything changes. They no longer waste time blaming circumstances, complaining about obstacles, or waiting for permission. They understand that whatever they focus on expands, that whatever energy they embody is what they attract. They begin to move differently, think differently. Their words are no longer careless. They choose them with precision, knowing that every thought, every intention, every vibration they put out into the universe is shaping what comes next. But this level of mastery requires something that most people are unwilling to do: the complete destruction of limiting beliefs. The chosen ones do not just question what they have been taught, they dismantle it entirely. They understand that the mind is the gatekeeper of all possibilities, and if they allow it to be programmed by fear, doubt, or scarcity, they will never reach their full potential. So they rewire themselves, they replace limitation with expansion, they replace doubt with certainty, they replace fear with trust. And as they do this, the external world begins to mirror their internal transformation. This is why chosen ones seem to manifest things effortlessly. It is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is the result of deep inner alignment. They have mastered the art of expectation. They do not hope for things to happen, they expect them to. And because they expect them with absolute conviction, the universe rearranges itself to meet them at that level. They do not chase opportunities, they create them. They do not beg for validation, they radiate such an undeniable energy that the right people, the right circumstances, and the right moments align with precision. But make no mistake, this is not about arrogance. True chosen ones do not seek power for the sake of power. They do not manipulate or control. They understand that being an architect of reality comes with responsibility. It is not just about personal gain. It is about elevating everything around them. They move with purpose, knowing that their presence alone can shift the energy of a room, that their words can ignite revolutions, that their vision can inspire generation. And here lies the final test. Once a chosen one realizes their ability to shape reality, they must decide what to do with it. Will they use it for selfish desires, or will they use it to uplift others? Will they allow their ego to consume them, or will they remain humble in their power? Because the ultimate truth is this: True mastery is not just about creation, it is about contribution. The greatest chosen ones are not those who accumulate the most, but those who give the most. They do not just build for themselves, they build for the world. So now the question turns to you. If you have walked this far, if you have resonated with this journey, if you have felt the fire of transformation burning within you, then perhaps you too are meant to be an architect of reality. But what will you do with that power? Will you shrink back into the comfort of the ordinary, or will you step fully into your potential? Will you continue to react to life, or will you finally take control and create it on your terms? Because make no mistake, the world does not change by accident. It changes because of those who dare to shape it. And the chosen ones? They are the ones who refuse to accept things as they are. They are the ones who see beyond the illusion, who dream beyond the limits, who act beyond the fear. They are the ones who, no matter what happens, no matter how impossible it seems, always find a way. And now the only thing left to ask is this: are you ready to become one of them?